really, psyched to have you here. We already collabed, but it's really just both bringing awareness to refugees and immigrants and their experience in Connecticut and really making that a thing. And then you can get to know that cause and both of us better by coming to Park City on April 20th. Carole Sylvan will be there. Rob Fried will be there. So that's the, hopefully that's the engagement that we get.
Good.
And,
Sounds good.
It's all part of everything we're doing.
Yeah. This is great.
And also a fun experience, That's it.
That's it?
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right.
So,
And who is Carole?
and Carole, musically,
Yes.
so
She'll be singing at our...
she's singing at your event.
Wonderful.
So yeah, she is a soul and disco singer par excellence. She's like New York City. When she was 16 years old, she sang with James Brown at Yankee Stadium. Wow. I'm telling you, she is the shit. There are some people I play with that are, and then she is like this other level. And what she can do to an audience, what she can get you, and Anthony too. We played Saturday night with Anthony, who's our lead singer for your show. He had the audience in his frickin' hand, and it was soul and disco. I'll show you video of it. People were going nuts. They were going nuts. So that's good. Let me get you set up listening to where you're going to be out here.
The woman you had at
Stephanie,
Deb's
our flower power girl.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Okay. The stream is going to start at 12 o'clock. So, let me just. So, the stream is going to start at 12 o'clock. Anne Marie, just how are the levels?
Not very loud.
Okay. How about now? Oh, yeah, that should be. I can hear it.
A little
Yeah.
better. Are you going to move it just a little bit? Look, like she's sitting there. And
Well, so there's going to be one here, and I'm going to be in the corner over here. So, like this. Now, I'm going to try to back out a little bit here.
yeah.
Let's see. Okay, that's going which way? That's going to be about it. Yeah, that's going to be kind of what we have. Zoom in.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe then just
No.
go. It was better before.
That's about it right
Go
there.
back to what you had.
I think that's where I was.
No.
See, I'm going to be on this little camera
You
right
want
here.
to go up
Yeah, this is.
more. But lean it up towards the ceiling a little more.
There we go, like that.
How are we doing for time here?
Good. Come on in. We're actually streaming and getting a little advance.
15 minutes. So, Carole, you're going to sit here.
Okay.
And
Yeah, there you
Um,
go, Steve. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I like that.
or actually, the other thing I can do
Spot.
Mhm.
Spot.
is, so if you sit here, yes, you're going to sit here, and after we perform your song, I'm going to move you over to there.
Okay.
Okay? This, because I like this lighting and I like you and me connecting like this.
Okay.
So the first thing is just to put your headphones on for a minute and make sure we like the level of those. And L for left.
I guess you need a seated in.
That's L left.
Okay.
Good.
I hear you
And
nice.
okay, now you know, and as you know, you want to be pretty close to that pop filter,
Right.
and that'll put you right inside people's heads. At least for the talking part. When you're singing,
Yeah,
you know,
gotta back up.
You'll work it. You'll move it back and forth as you hear it. And what's going to happen as a reminder is you're going to be here from the beginning of the show. And the first part of the show, it's going to be me and Steve just talking. Then I'm going to play your song, Saving Up for Your Love.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to come out and I'm going to read a little bit and tell people about Band Central, give them an update. Then I'm going to say, now we're back with Carole. Now we're here with Carole Sylvan.
Mm-hmm.
You and I will do a 13-minute conversation,
Okay.
the questions that I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And don't, just like, if there's any dead air or whatever.
Honey, they ain't got to worry about dead air with me. Come on.
I didn't think so. then we'll do Son of a Preacher Man,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll go over in a minute. And then I'll put on a song, and you'll move over there. The two other ladies will move over here.
Okay.
And then I interview them to talk about the nonprofit. Then, after that's done, I turn your mic back on, and we have our closing segment, which is for 5 minutes. You know, I'll just ask you, hey, what was your highlight of the show? Anything else that occurs to you
Mm-hmm.
want to add? And we're just chatting.
Okay.
And then the show's over.
Gotcha.
So that is it. And then let me just show you a little bit of what
chatting away. If you don't mind, 'cause we're doing like a little like pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Now you should hear it, Amory.
Yeah, okay. We had it off.
Yeah.
Very, very low.
Well, wait till they haven't really
Okay, yeah. Well, we're
Hey,
yeah. You should be hearing everything.
how's everybody in the WPKN audience doing tonight?
8 minutes. 8 minutes to showtime. I'm just
Okay.
gonna retune. Isn't it cool? We're just having like the little parlor, this tiny parlor guitar
Oh.
in the background. You
I
know.
used to do those years ago.
What do you mean?
Parlor concerts in the in Harlem. The parlors that they had in the tenement in the brownstones.
Uh-huh.
They would give concerts.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot
every-
of people,
every
a lot
time
of
they-
people
they
are
do it,
used,
they do it
a
in
lot of
another-
people are used to hearing you sing with a whole band, and it's like there's just a lot to compete.
this.
There's
Oh,
a lot to
thank you.
compete with, you know.
No.
And I just think it's introducing you singing a classic song, but in this unplugged way. It's like very revealing of your
Which
personality.
song is that?
Son of a Preacher Man.
And do you live in Bridgeport or?
No, I live in Jamaica, Queens.
Ah,
I'm a
Jamaica,
Queens girl,
Queens.
yeah.
Good.
From Jamaica.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister lives down there, Jackson
really?
Heights.
Oh yeah, not far.
That's a trip.
Okay.
Jackson Heights, I love it.
So that's all set. I'm turning my phone off so it doesn't make noise. I've got this right here, ready to
Well, I'm
go.
glad you could make the trip up. You
Oh
know, it's
yeah.
great.
I wish I could stay longer. That's it. When I come up here, I like to just linger.
So our station is a kind of a unique station. It's public,
Right.
but it's not NPR. It's the headquarters is in Berkeley, California, and we
Really?
have all the DJs are non-paid. They're all, the love of music. So we've got Haitian.
Hang on,
DJs,
I just
we
got to
have
make sure my
Rastafari
sound is
DJs.
working.
Almost like
Like-
WBGO.
Yeah, like
Similar.
BGO,
Like
which
BGO,
is yeah.
similar.
It's actually WBAI. If you ever heard
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So we're in the
Because
same
like BAI used
constellation.
to sister station used to be WWRL
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, before
So
FM.
we're in that same kind of
Yeah.
constellation of Pacifica
Mhm.
Radio, but
Okay.
it's all 24/7, and everybody does it for just the passion.
For the community.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an interesting model. It's not necessarily a business model necessarily.
Of course not.
A love model.
But you need more.
You know, everything's good, man. Everything's
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
We are
good.
we're
This
ready
is
for
fun.
this
You know,
show.
we got
We're-
a little background. If you we're streaming live right now,
Okay.
and kind of a pre-stream.
Pre-stream.
So, yeah, we thought this is cool. So it's already we alerted our listeners that the live stream with the content
Oh,
is
I-
going to
yeah.
start at 12 noon. So
Okay.
yeah.
I need another thing. So when I try to share
That photo that you that you had of me and you, it's so cute because we
I
look
love
like
it.
we look like we're like
I'm glad I kept it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I started scrolling for pictures.
yeah. That was a good one. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
How was the drive up?
Great.
Not bad. Going kind of reverse traffic. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
You saw the traffic going the other
The
way.
other way, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, this is like I added this to the whole band central thing because it gives the nonprofits to come out a chance to come out
And speak
and
speak
be on
for
the air.
yeah, and speak in
And
behalf.
you never know who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gives the artists, a chance to put some of their work on, perform in studio, and also meet the nonprofits and feel,
Mm-hmm.
feel like we're connected to using our talent for
In a good way.
to raise the vibe in a good
In a
way.
good way. In a good way.
In a good way.
It's a way to give back. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people know how to take. They don't know how to give.
That's right.
Yes.
Now I clicked too.
Yeah.
So we're on in a few, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we're on in 3 minutes.
Okay. Woo!
Steve, I am going to, in our intro segment, ask you that question about, we know PKN is this great radio station with DJs and music, but tell us more about what PKN is doing to make the community a great place. And you can look back and talk about Black History Month. You can talk about Music Mash. You can talk about whatever you want. Usually you talk about what's on your mind
coming
now.
up, we're going to be part of the Juneteenth celebration. And, Dr. Smith that we
From
know is-
Housatonic.
Yeah, he's actually the grand chairman or the chairman of
Superb, talk about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Facebook stream key. Okay, this is what I have to do. I have to use the phone.
No.
The stream key for Facebook.
No, Steve, you have to log into the YouTube account on your computer here
2
and
minutes.
change the permissions. In here.
No, but this is what we have to do to get this. We just need a stream key for Facebook.
I know, but we also want to be able to just share the link to Facebook for the YouTube page, and I can't because something is disabled.
Yeah, but do you know how to fix that?
They recently moved to this studio.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of redone. It used to be this moldy room in the student center at University of Bridgeport, and they were there forever. And it had a lot of character. But this is kind of cool because it's right in downtown Bridgeport.
Mm-hmm.
It's connected to.
I'm trying to think what's here. Isn't there a theater near here?
Yeah, the Bijou Theater.
That's what
is right
as soon as I
next
turned the
door.
corner, I was like, I know I've been here. Some nights to come in the daytime, but anyway.
Right. Okay. Not used to these places in the daytime. Okay. 45 seconds. Steve. 30 seconds. Well, hey, after we play Preacher Man, I need to make sure that the other ladies come on in.
Yeah, okay.
You could help with that. Okay, 10 seconds, we're on. Here we go. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, for the next hour, I aim to entertain and educate you about music and causes that enrich your life. A delicious mix of talking and music we call fun philanthropy or funlanthropy, where the desire to improve the welfare of others is combined with music and fun. Today you will meet singer-songwriter Carole Sylvan. You will also meet Susan Schnitzer and Caroline Peck from the Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants right here in Bridgeport, who work very hard to help new entrants to our community have the support and resources to be productive and have a happy life. More on them later. I'm Rob Freed, and welcome to Band Central Radio. You made it. And we broadcast the fourth Monday of every month here on WPKN 89.5 FM here in Bridgeport. and on your audio device of choice anytime you want to listen via WPKN podcasts. We are also streaming live today on WPKN's YouTube channel.
And thank you to Band Central for helping us to actually get the gear and the equipment to do this.
Well, this is true. That was part of a Band Central grant program to WPKN. Well, as you can hear, that lovely baritone voice was none other than WPKN General Manager Steve DiCostanzo. You've got a great face for radio.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
Steve, how you doing?
We have to have a good face now that we're actually live streaming, right? So
well, this is true. This is true.
Where's the hair and makeup when you need them?
Hey, Steve, while I got you talking here, we all know in this area, WPKN, for the great programmers, the musical diversity. Though, can you give us an update on PKN's initiatives to make our community a better place?
Yeah. Well, since we last spoke, we had an incredible closing event for Black History Month. And we had the modern dance company, Bill T. Jones, Arnie Zane Company from New York. And they were at the Quick Center for the Arts. And it was just an incredible multicultural celebration. And we had a great turnout and made a little money as well in the process. But it was just great to engage so many different communities to come out for that. And that's kind of what we're doing since we moved downtown. It's so much different to be right in the locus of all the action, right in this kind of urban center in the largest city in Connecticut. So
one of the ways we can measure our richness as a community is through the arts and the culture. Yeah. The museums, I not too long ago I went to the art museum up at Yale. God, what an experience! If you take advantage of these things around here, it's very enriching.
We're also looking forward to Juneteenth. We are taking some of the grant money that we got, and we're applying it to Juneteenth, and we're going to be doing a collab with a group called Gang Poetry, which does some slam poetry and spoken word, and we're going to have some films as well, that probably at the Bijou Theater.
What's the best way for people to just get a rundown of events happening at PKN?
Yeah, good question. Probably just our website, WPKN.org. And we have, our own calendar of events, and you'll see pretty much everything that's coming up in the next couple of months.
And your listener page on Facebook is pretty active with, with a stream of stuff. How would people find that?
Well, so that's WPKN Listener Community. That's our page that anyone can post on. And then we have WPKN Community Radio, which is our official Facebook page that only we can post on topics.
Great,
but and also Instagram. We've got a very, very good Instagram page. A lot of followers.
Great. Well, thank you, Steve, and thanks. It's always worthwhile to spend a few minutes double clicking on the importance of WPKN, so we're aware of your contribution to the community. Moving on. I love supporting my wife, my friends, and musicians on their artistic journeys. And I extend this same invitation to you, WPKN listener, and Band Central community member. We can all experience creativity and communication as we channel, positive energy into the world and in nature to create better outcomes for all of us. Now, please find time today in your day and in your week to get inspired and create, even if it seems mundane. It doesn't need to be grandiose. Even when we do something like finding a way around the traffic jam or coming up with a new recipe for food we like, it's creative, and we experience this creative juice of nature coming through us. So check out Rick Rubin's recent book called The Creative Act. He's this legendary music producer who says creativity is not something that you do. Rather, it's a way of being. It has to do with getting back to the innocence of our childhood mind. And it is something everyone needs to do. And I get it. This sounds kind of transcendental, but that's me. I'm your radio talk show host, so you're stuck with it. Hey, related to this, and yet a little different. I'm fresh off of some travels in Mexico, and last month I was awed by the close connection of the Mayan people, that what they have with nature and the cosmos. And one of my takeaways, Mayans have a perspective that's been used by indigenous peoples throughout the Americas, where they see themselves as caretakers of nature and each other. And each act of caretaking, no matter how small, makes an impact. You know, and so I returned to Connecticut, and I'm pondering how every act of caretaking that we do, from supporting young adults with development disabilities, to helping a food pantry, to cleaning up a beach, mentoring inner city school kids, etc., whatever you like, it sends out a ring of positive energy to the world. Gandhi once said, "The earth, the air, the land, and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children." So we have to hand it over to them, at least as it was handed over to us. When we act as caretakers of Connecticut, our collective impact will be strong enough to change the direction of the harmful forces we seek to change. And it is with this hope around this collective power that Band Central creates a platform around music and giving, so we can make Connecticut a good place for us, for our children, and our children's children. Thanks for listening. Hey, we're going to take a listen to one of Carole Sylvan's new tracks. It's called "Saving Up for Your Love." We'll be right back.
To live life happily. They say love don't cost a thing. Best things in life are free. Those diamond rings ain't right, you see. Not what I'm worthy of. You're the only one for me. I'm saving up for your love, said I. Saving up for your love, said I. Saving up for your love, said I'm saving, baby. Saving up for your love. Another nickel earned. Don't come easy, child. That's the one good thing I've learned. They say that time is the money. All I have is time. I'm saving up for your loving, and I won't spend a dime. I'm saving up for your love. That I'm saving, baby, for your love. Saving up for your love. That I'm saving. saving, baby. Said I'm saving.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. We
That's
just
amazing.
heard. Yeah, we just heard Saving Up for Your Love by our next guest, Carole Sylvan. Wow, I'm out of breath. We will talk to her in a moment. But first, let me update you on Band Central. So, Band Central, the first thing, Band Central is a team. It's a team. It's made up of me as the executive director and founder, Andy Caddison, who was the former radio talk show host for many years, is our executive producer. Paula Murphy, our director of operations, keeping all the trains running on time, and Audrey Neforis, our director of communications. And basically what we do, we have this mission, we call it show up, get down, and do good. And what we do is we provide grant money and advice and technical assistance to nonprofits, and then we perform at shows. And that resulted in $1 million raised last year, our best year ever for local nonprofits. And it brings our total raise since we started this over 15 years ago to $6 million.
Well, congratulations. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks. We're proud of it. And for those of you not familiar, I just want to say a tiny bit about how it works, how our model works. So we're a private philanthropy. And as I mentioned, our mission is to help nonprofits in the Connecticut area maximize their special event revenue by bringing them together with musicians and donors and audiences through these themed music concerts. And what we do is we provide a grant to the nonprofit to help kickstart the event, if you will, from our donor-advised fund at the Fairfield County's Community Foundation. And then we work closely with the nonprofit during the planning of the event to basically engage their donors, attract new donors, help them raise funds. And it's kind of a unique combination of my background as a business person where, I spent over 3 decades at the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, with my, my passion for music and desire to do well. To do good. And, you can contact us at or via our website, experiencebandcentral.com. So that's that.
Yeah.
And,
Something tells me you have a busy schedule coming up.
Well, we do, and I was going to get to that. Basically, we've got 12 theme shows that are happening in 2023, and I want to tell you the names of some of these amazing musicians who are joining us this year, because I really respect them, and I want to put the musicians right up top here. Carole Sylvan, who we're going to be interviewing momentarily, Gabrielle Lakshmi, Stephanie Harrison, Joe Bouchard, Joan Levy Hepburn, John Torres, Bill Carbone, Gray Fowler, Fuzz, Cyrus Madden, Anthony David, Eric Kalb, Tiger McNeil, Pat Marafiotti, Barry Blumenfield, Rob Somerville, Rob Volo, Marcos Torres Jr., Mike Marble, Ronnie Sissia, Lou Bodak, Brad Helene, Brad Milov, Steve Redler, Pat Williams, Matt Bell, John Varholak, and I'm probably forgetting a few people. And we're performing some amazing shows. We're doing a show called The Spectrum of Rock, another show called Flower Power, Songs from the Generation of Love, Funk and Disco of the 1970s, and To the Max Reunion. And it's for some amazing nonprofits, the Kennedy Collective, Operation Hope, New Canaan Mounted Troop, Wolfgang and Company, Siri, Sterling House, Mission, CLASP, Children's Learning Center, Center for Family Justice, FTC, Cardinal Sheehan Center, and our very own WPKN, who's celebrating their 60th anniversary this year. Yay!
Yay.
And here are the upcoming dates. April 20th, for the Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants, Funk and Disco at the Park City Music Hall. May 17th, to benefit Fairfield Theater, at Fairfield Theater is the To the Max reunion. On the 19th of May, to benefit New Canaan Mounted Troop, Jazz and Dance at Weber Country Club. And on June 1st, to benefit Team Wolfgang Funk and Disco at Park City Music Hall. So as I mentioned, you can, sign up to our Band Central newsletter, which is monthly, get our tour dates, follow us on Facebook at Experience Dance Central. You can also check out my website at robfriedmusic.com for stuff. Now, joining us now is Carole Sylvan. Carole is a classically trained pop and jazz singer, vocal arranger, songwriter, and educator. She began singing in church. However, at age 16, she opened up for James Brown at Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
Period, pause. She began her career.
That defines a career.
She began her career as a classic singer, and she attended the Brooklyn Conservatory of Music, Juilliard School of Music. And during her junior year in college, she went on the road with a show band for 44 weeks. So that's trial by fire. And she started writing songs with the Fatback Band and performing lead vocals on the band's first hit called Money. But closer to home, and this should relate to a lot of PKN listeners who are going to remember the name I'm about to say, she sang on Charlie Karp's final studio album. And that gives me and many of the WPKN fans and listeners goosebumps, Steve, because, and that album was called Back to You. Charlie Karp was a phenom and a great guy.
Yeah, we miss him for sure.
Yeah. And in 2021, Carole released a 10-song album that debuted at number 9 on Relax. Welcome, Carole.
Hi. Hey, Rob.
Oh, man.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing.
All right, Carole.
I'm still thinking about that song I heard.
I know.
That was fantastic. Soul.
So let's just, why voice? Why not oboe or guitar? Why voice?
I'm going to give you an answer that someone else asked me a question similar to that. And I told them this, and I still believe this to this day. It's the only time people listen to me.
Huh.
And that's why.
So say more about that. So when you're singing, you're saying you can command the listening that in the din of the world, people aren't really
right
listening.
Now, and I've come to evolve about that because now I feel that it not only gives me a listening audience, but it also is stress relieving. It is. Music is, and that's why I love doing it in the schools, teaching kids how to sing and how to relate to music, because it's something that a lot of young people, especially in the inner cities, don't get. And so, and I know we all came up with it. We were all, had that advantage, but our children today don't. And I really feel that core, that right and left brain activity needs to be cohesive. It shouldn't be left all the time. That analytical part, that's good. I understand that. You need reasoning skills. But that artistic side, that creative side, like you were talking about earlier, it's so important because when a child learns to create, that means they're using their imagination. Use your imagination. That opens up a whole new world.
Yeah,
You're able to think.
This is a little bit of that Mozart effect where the rational learning is going into one lobe of the brain, but the music engages the other lobe of the brain, and then you get this corpus callosum that is the connection. And to really learn, it needs to be both sides of the brain playing together. And so there's this role in music and music education that's kind of underappreciated today
really
as it kind of gets knocked out of school.
It gets cut. The cuts, the first thing that goes is arts.
It's horrible.
And in Bridgeport is an extreme example of that.
So is New York City.
Unfortunately,
Now, Carole, tell us a little bit about the track that we just heard. I know you had some great players on it, and and God, just tell us.
We had the Uptown Horns.
That would be Crispin and Larry,
Arno, Bob Funk. Amazing guys.
Yeah, yeah, and saving up your love. What about what is it? What's the inspiration for that track? What's that about?
Well,
saving up for your love.
yeah, saving up for your love. Well, Rafe Klein, who's my executive producer,
okay.
he brought it to me, and I said, oh yeah, I like that, but we got to change some of this, And I just went to work with him, and we just collaborated on it and got it together. And then they did Crispin did the horn parts. He created the horn section. And,
well, congratulations to Rafe and Crispin. Wow.
Yeah. And it just worked.
And am I correct in saying that's Scott on bass?
Yeah.
So there's the great Scott Spray.
Bobby T. Torillo on drums.
Come on,
Yeah.
when you got those guys in the cellar, not a lot could go wrong.
Now, is this a recent release?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on my new EP.
All right.
You have a four song EP that came out after the 10-song
fantastic.
CD. Yeah.
So let's talk about the now for a minute. The now. So what is getting you most inspired musically right now? You did mention the importance of music to your own healing, to your own sense of calm, but talk to us a little bit. And it doesn't have to be just what you're singing. It could be what you're listening to, what is getting you most inspired musically?
Wow. Inspired. I think it's just life, because I see so much going on today. And it seems like when people talk to me, I have a song, I have a soundtrack in my brain. And so if someone says something, automatically I go to that, whatever that song is. They can say whatever it is. Well, I saw so-and-so walk this way. And I start singing Walk On By in my head. Just different things like that. And I think it's a really good frame of reference. It's better than the alternative.
You know what it reminds me of is, so Grateful Dead heads have a way of every single thing that happens in life, they can tie it back to a lyric in a song.
Yeah, that's me.
To a Grateful Dead song, right? Specifically.
To a Grateful Dead song specifically. Yeah. And this will become the content of their posts of their life.
Yeah.
And it's actually so beautiful that it's a full vacuum. It's a full circle. It's great.
I like the idea that almost anything that you come across, it can be a trigger for a song.
For a song, yeah. Walking down the street, you see a kid.
So you're always,
like even,
eyes and ears are open.
There's a song, there's a song that I wrote, because I do house music too. And so there's a song I wrote called Change It. And somebody had road rage. And I said, okay, you going to go there with that? All right. And I stayed with me the whole time. And I went home and I just penned a song. I just sat down and wrote the song about it. Like, you don't like your life, change it. You don't like what you see, change it.
Yeah, so that, and by the way, this fits into my monologue where I said earlier that everybody can create and communicate. Now, somebody else might go home and write that in a journal or talk about it with their kids at the dinner table. You just happen to use your medium, which is I then create a song, which I work on with Rafe, and I memorialize it, but also becomes something that you meditate on as you're producing. And, like you said earlier, the music is always coming back to your own healing and your own journey. Tell us a little bit about kind of what do you have coming up that our listeners should know about?
Well, I'm going to be at the Porch April 23rd. I'm with you
on the 20th.
On the 20th. I also sing with a disco group called Musique Push in the Bush. Keep on jumping. Yeah, I've been with them since '79.
So we're
really?
Still, Wait, you were part of that group?
Yeah.
Musique. Oh yeah, I played that all the time.
Oh yes.
Push in the bush. Absolutely.
There you go. So we are performing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We April 13th was somewhere. I know the 15th is Lehman College.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got different things going on. Yeah, I got a lot going on. Go to the website, CaroleSylvan.com.
So let's do a moment here on website and social media. So we just, and if you're driving on 95, don't take out your pencil or your phone to write this down. You could always catch it in the archives or email Steve DiCostanza. But your website again is
CaroleSylvan.com.
and it's Carole with an E.
Carole with an E.
CaroleSylvan.
Sylvan.
Yes. And on social media, any?
The Real Carole Sylvan on Instagram, and Carole Sylvan the Artist on Facebook, and also Carole Sylvan on Facebook.
So you can hear Carole Sylvan on April 20th at the Park City Music Hall for this great show that we're doing to benefit our next guests who will be joining us, Susan and Caroline from the Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants. But in the meantime, can we close this interview with maybe you and me playing a song together live in the studio, acoustic?
Show enough, right?
All right. So one thing I've always wanted to, I played this live with Carole with the whole band, but we've never performed this together.
So kind of stripped down here.
In a stripped down version.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a little Dusty Springfield,
Cool.
Son of a Preacher Man. What do you think of that,
Well,
Steve?
I think it's a treat. This is going to be the first, one of the first songs actually going over live stream.
Really?
For WPKN. I know Dave Golden's had a couple of folks in, and Joseph Celli had a performer this morning, but this is breaking some new ground.
I've got my little parlor guitar here, and we're just gonna mic this right live in the studio.
Nice.
Billy Ray was a preacher's son. When his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around the parlor talking, that's when Billy would take me walking. Through the backyard we go walking. Then I look into his eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only boy who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Ooh, yes, he was. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I try. When it started sweet talking to me, kiss and tell me everything is alright. Come and tell me everything was alright. Can we get along a thing tonight? The only boy who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Ooh, yeah. How well I remember the look is in his eyes, stealing kisses from me on the slide. Yes, he was on the slide, taking time to make time, telling me that he's all mine, learning from each other's knowing. Look at us here, how much we're growing. The only boy who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yeah, the only boy who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Ooh. Yes, he was.
Wowza. Yeah, that was Carole Sylvan. Carole Sylvan singing Son of a Preacher Man. Guess what? It's time for News of the Benevolent. We can change the world. And what we're doing is spotlighting causes and happenings in our community toward making the world a better place. As you know, Band Central does live music events to raise awareness and funds for organizations helping with hunger, education, basic human services, to make our community a better place. And through the power of music with purpose, we can make a difference out there. So if you can find it in your heart to attend one of our events or simply give to these organizations, you can literally change people's lives. Here are some of the organizations we're working with this spring and summer. The Kennedy Collective Autism Project, providing skills and life training for people with autism. Visit them at thekennedycollective.org. Center for Family Justice, supporting victims of domestic and sexual violence. centerforfamilyjustice.org. Sterling House Community Center, hub of the Stratford community. sterlinghousecc.org. The Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants, supporting immigrants and refugees and, new entrants to our state. Check them out at CIRICT.org. Fairfield Theater Company, protecting and promoting music and arts in our community. fairfieldtheater.org. Wolfgang and Company, skills and life training for young adults with developmental disabilities. wolfgangco.org. And New Canaan Mounted Troop, also skills and life training with young adults with developmental disabilities, providing an equine experience through horses. newcanaanmountedtroop.org. Joining us now are Susan Schnitzer and Caroline Peck of CIRI. And I can't wait to talk to them. Susan has been a leader in our community for a while, and she's committed to affecting social change through operational development, like really getting things done, legislative advocacy, and community action. She has a strong knowledge of systems related to domestic and sexual violence, prisoner reentry, child welfare, and interrelated social service systems. All really vital stuff. Caroline Peck has been an active board member at CIRI for 8 years. She just finished chairing the board for the past 3 years and is still leading strategic initiatives there. She's a marketing exec with over 30 years of experience, primarily in financial services, mainly with Citibank and Charles Schwab. In my mind, having done over 100 events, to me, Caroline Peck is an example of what an engaged board member is really about. So, as I mentioned, we have an upcoming event on Thursday, April 20th at the Park City Music Hall to support CIRI. So I'm really happy Susan and Caroline are here in the studio with us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So why don't you each take a turn? Just tell us a little more about yourselves. Like, how did you even become aware and involved of CIRI?
Well, I learned about CIRI when I was getting married, actually. My husband and I like to give back, and we were getting married, and we're both older at the time, and thought we don't want regular wedding gifts, and we wanted to find a local charity where we could have guests make a donation. So I actually went shopping for charities to see what would resonate with us. And my husband has done a lot of work with refugees. He chaired UNHCR's advisory board and visited a number of refugee camps in Africa. So he wanted something with refugees. I wanted something that was local, where I could bring my daughter, who was 6 at the time, so she could get involved and she could see beyond Fairfield County. I mean, I love Fairfield County. It's beautiful. But let's face it, it's a bubble. It is not what the rest of the world is like and how people live. And I wanted her to understand really what was out there, and to be able to meet people from other countries and see what their lives have been like. So I found out about Syria, and they obviously did refugee resettlement, so that hit right there to us. And I was also impressed by the Affordable Immigration Legal Services work. And my father was an immigrant who came here from Germany after World War I, and that is actually when Syria started, was in 1918. And it was to help with the refugees coming from Europe from World War I. So there was a connection there for me. And then when I asked Siri if it would be possible for me to bring my daughter when I did volunteer work, they said absolutely. And so we started throwing craft parties for refugee children. And my daughter would ask some friends, and they would come up with ideas for crafts that they could teach refugee children. And we did different theme parties, like a Valentine's Day party, a winter wonderland. And our kids and the refugee children would make crafts together. And it was just a beautiful thing.
Caroline, I love this story because it's about it's about you not just doing good, but it's about parenting skills. It's about you decided you needed to find something. It's about marriage skills. It's, you know, it's like you involved your whole life in this.
Well, I mean, we were getting married and starting a new life, and I had my daughter, and it's just, I think, too, with children, if you can teach them early giving back, that's such an important life lesson. So that becomes something that they seek to integrate in their life going forward.
Yes, we are, like you said, the bubble that we know as Fairfield County, we are at risk of feeling entitled. And how do we, you know, undo some of that? And you clearly found a way.
Absolutely.
Creating something that a child can relate to, and hosting them at people at your house to do this crafting.
Well, the crafting was actually at Burroughs Community Center because we have space there. But this has continued through my daughter. That was 10 years ago, and my daughter's now 16. And for the past 3 years, we have hosted at our house Summer Academy, which is a refugee program that Siri runs, and it helps refugee youth prepare for the school year while also integrating some camp-like activities. So the end of the program, which is a 3-week-long program, ends at my home, and there's a barbecue and swimming, and we play badminton and soccer, and my daughter brings friends, and she helps, you know, engage with all the children there. It's like, Susan, I don't know, 23, 25 children come each year. Yeah. So
wow, really passing it on. We're listening to Caroline Peck, who's a board member from CIRI, the Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants, right here on WPKN 89.5 FM, Band Central Radio. So, wow, that was Susan. Tell us about, you know, how did you even become aware of CIRI, and, you know, and kind of what's your draw?
Sure. So I moved down to Connecticut in 2005. And I had come from finance. But my last job before I moved down here was in a grants department. So through a friend of mine, I started working for what's now the Center for Family Justice, doing a lot of compliance work and program development, and just fell in love with the work. I felt like I finally found what my calling was. It wasn't looking at numbers every day, although I do that at least on a weekly basis with my job.
We have to keep focused.
We have to keep focused.
She's a numbers gal.
And we had actually had a project with Siri around working with survivors of human trafficking. So there was a really smooth transition for me into Siri. And when I met my predecessor, Claudia Connor, and interviewed her, it's like, this is the place for me. And it's really, you know, I get to do so much for so many people. And I get to lead an organization that has absolutely brilliant board members. I mean, Caroline she's going to get embarrassed now, but is so much more than a board member. I mean, she's part of our staff, and she's not the only board member that we feel that way about.
There's a number like that.
And an absolute incredible team of very dedicated folks who want to welcome. We use the words welcome people, welcome newcomers. What we really do is helping folks who are fleeing violence and helping them rebuild their lives, rebuild their community, find their way in the world in a space that's very different from where they came from.
Right. We only need to go back a generation or two or three to where at some point we were all either refugees or immigrants.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
so, and the energy, it's almost like the same way we need entrepreneurs in the world.
Yes.
We need people that want to pursue the American dream
Yes.
and find a legitimate way to do that.
And innovate, right? When we bring people in from other cultures and other countries, there's a lot of knowledge that we do not have here. I'm a few generations out. My grandparents on one side came from Italy, great-grandparents on the other side from Ireland and England, all fleeing poverty. And now we're, third and fourth generation. There's over 100 of us doing all types of different careers. But what they brought with them was their culture. And that's what we see with our clients. They bring their culture, they bring their experience, and they bring their innovation.
Dear PKN listener, the reason I really am happy that you're getting to know Susan and Caroline as people. And that's part of what this interview is about, because in reality, to know Siri, I don't know exactly what it means to know a company, but I can tell you, to me, when I think of each of the nonprofits, I think of who's leading that and who are the people. And I can tell you that I have a lot of confidence. This is a power duo here that we have in Susan and Caroline, and really the whole team there. And so when you're thinking about going to an event, or if you're even thinking about donating to Siri, what you've got is money that's going to be really responsibly well spent, strategically deployed, and a lot of heart in that community. And I'll add, it's the same way that I wanted you, dear PKN listener, to get to know Carole Sylvan. And that, it's one thing to hear somebody on the radio and hear their song, and it's another to really get to know Carole and find out where she came from and how, some of the things that we talked about today, using music for her own healing and hearing her perform in a really unrehearsed parlor kind of way, a very exposed. So it was very beautiful.
Sounded great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Let's go back. Let's go back and just talk a little more about Siri.
Sure.
So what are the priorities for Siri right now?
So I'll let Caroline talk about one of our priorities, which is finding more space. And I'll tell you why we are looking for more space. Over the past year and a half.
Elon Musk knows something about space.
He does.
I don't think
Different kind of space.
We do have satellite offices, but I don't think we want to be that far away from our main office.
All right,
although some days there may be people that would love that. So we have grown by about a third. So we started off about 45 employees, now we're up to 65, largely in response to crises around the world, and the crises, some of which you hear about in the news and some of which you don't. So of resettling the Afghans, there are about 85,000 folks who fled Afghanistan to come to the U.S. Connecticut has resettled probably over 1,500 of those in various forms. In Syria, about 250 folks that we are working with still continually as they're making their way here in the U.S. Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. We are working with about 170 folks who have fled Ukraine, and more are coming. People are here in the state, about 2,000 folks that we know of from Ukraine, living with their sponsors and now looking to forge paths out on their own, as it looks like people have nothing to go back to and will not be going back anytime soon. Those you hear about in the news. What you don't hear a lot about are the number of folks who have fled Haiti and who are coming here into the state. We're serving about 150 folks now. We have almost 3 households that come in every single week looking for help. It's something we are funded to do. It's something we are proud to do.
Connecticut has long had a relationship with Haiti, isn't that right? Because I remember back when we did a concert for Haiti back around the time, way back when, the time of the earthquake, and I just remember being shocked by how many people in the greater Bridgeport area are Haitian.
A lot of community, which is why people come, right? You come to places where you have community. And again, that's, I mean, I was just reading this morning, the violence is only getting worse.
Yeah.
Really
yeah, my
worse in
family,
their-
my father's family's from Haiti.
They are.
Yeah. And I have gone down there, and much as I love it, I wouldn't make myself go back. I just couldn't. Yeah.
It's not safe
It's
at the
not
moment.
safe at all.
It's not
Yeah.
safe.
Not safe.
And that's horrible, right? That's horrible that
And
you
it's a
can't
beautiful
do that.
country.
Beautiful
The people
country.
themselves are beautiful
Gorgeous people.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous
Their
people.
hearts are so pure.
Yes.
But it's them other people.
And Caroline, were you going to add a little something to the priorities of Siri? I know Susan started off and was going to also have you kind of say your perspective on the direction and strategically what's important now for Siri.
Well, a number of things, but right now, a major focus that I'm working on with a team of people, it's the new building committee. We are looking for a new space. Siri needs a new home. As Susan mentioned, our program growth has been explosive. Refugee services alone grew 400% since 2018. And right now, the staff in Bridgeport is scattered across 3 different properties. Our headquarters at 675 Clinton Avenue, but then we're at Bessemer Center and at Burroughs. And that's not efficient or economical. And our business model is highly integrated services. So our clients tap into different areas. A refugee will use our immigration legal services, our survivor services for survivors of torture. Many of our refugees, 40% of refugees are tortured. So you have our clients seeing multiple service areas, and we're housed in 3 different buildings, so that's not convenient for them either. So if we had a building that was big enough to house all of us, that would help us deliver our client services better. It also allows for program growth, and as we talked about, that's exploding. And it would help with we have a number of different workforce development programs, and we'd be able to expand that. Right now, it's focused on refugees. We could also open it up to immigrants. We also would be able to build a computer kiosk room if we had that for clients, because many don't have access to broadband. So we would have a room where they could come and use a computer, and students could come and improve their technology skills. And the other thing we'd love with a new space is a room that would have supervised care for children when the parents meet with their caseworker. Right now, you meet with the caseworker, kids are running around under the desk. It's not. So here you are, getting incredibly critical information from your case manager, and you're distracted by your children. So if we had a room that we could have the children safely watched while their parents meet, would be terrific. So you're probably wondering how we're going to fund this. And there is a bond from the state of Connecticut that we will be applying for, and we do really meet the criteria they're looking for, because they're looking for broadband access, workforce development, and green tech. And so the building that we go into, we would look to update the mechanicals to be more, environmentally productive.
Well,
So-
that it sounds really important.
Yes.
You're ticking through all the areas that Siri touches. We don't have time really to really get into it, but how can people learn more? Or another way of phrasing the question, how could people get involved? Because, in a way, both of you have had a life-changing experience through your roles at Siri. How could other people begin to explore? Maybe this could be an outlet for them, a way that they can help and communicate and be creative.
Yes, for sure. So if you go to our website, sirict.org, you'll see that we have a number of volunteer opportunities. We like to keep those as broad as possible, one-time opportunities. So if you have a group of friends, or Caroline did a lot of work a couple of years ago with school groups, you want to get backpacks together, personal care items, items for the babies or for the kids. That's a great way to do it. If you want to be involved a little longer term, we're starting a community navigator program where we will match folks with specific jobs. And one of those would be, taking families to the library. Our public libraries are absolutely phenomenal, and showing our folks how you can utilize the library, transportation assistance, where to find the grocery stores that have the food that you want to eat. So
and that could be discovered through going to SiriCT.org.
Yes.
So that's really the place to go, and
yes,
and people could email there. They could even email you.
There's a way to sign up there too. And also, just very quickly, we have a lot of great committees, and we are always looking for community members to join us in a more meaningful way through our committees. And that is really a path to becoming a board member.
All right. Well, this has the Band Central 2 thumbs up. Tell us more about the event coming up on April 20th at Park City Music Hall, because Band Central and Siri are partnering.
Yes, we are going to be there.
And
Carole,
Carole,
we're all there. So I am so excited after hearing you sing, and Carole and I now go way back about half an hour. We are in for a huge treat. We are April 20th at Park City Music Hall. We are funk and soul, and we are there to get down, have some fun, Rob, do some good, as Band Central does. I love Band Central's tagline. So it is, it's a way to come, bring your friends, get introduced to Siri. We do have a paddle race, so it is a fundraiser.
Where do you go to buy tickets? Do you go to the
website,
Park City website, or the Siri website?
You can go to both websites. You can find us either website. You can get to us. If you have trouble on the website, our main phone number is 203-336-0141. Give us a ring. We'd love to see you all there. It's going to be a really, really fun night with incredible music.
All right. Well, when you hear this music, it means we've entered our closing segment. Okay. And we just have a couple minutes here. So, hey, speaking of Park City Music Hall, I'm actually playing there this coming Sunday, April 2nd, from 3 to 5:30.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, just with my duo partner, Barry Blumenfield. So I was going to say, if you're a nonprofit or you're anybody who just wants to come meet me, come down to Park City, have an afternoon drink, or see the lovely venue, and we can chat, and you can hear me and Barry play a couple of tunes. Who knows who might show up? Maybe even Carole Sylvan if she's in the neighborhood. And I want to quickly say thank you to Audrey Neforis, Paula Murphy, Andy Caddison, and our guests, Carole Sylvan, Susan Schnitzer, Caroline Peck, and Steve DiCostanzo. Our next show is Monday, April 24th, and our guests will be saxophonist Rob Somerville from Kung Fu and Deep Banana Blackout, and FTC producing director John Reed. Carole, what was your favorite moment of the show? We got 10 seconds.
Oh, God, there were so many. One was what Susan had said about the innovation that immigrants bring that sometimes get ignored here, but they do have great innovations. Playing with you as always. You're now, darling. I love you.
We're going to leave it right there. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.